Good morning, afternoon, evening or night, whenever you're watching this, welcome. Today I'm far from home, visiting some family up north, and I've taken a little time out to do a spot of mudlarking. I'm currently standing in the River Derwent, about 3.7 miles southwest of Newcastle city centre, close to the site of a 17th century steel mill complex, the first part of which was concerned solely with the manufacture of nails, and that first building was built sometime around 1678. I'm planning on walking upriver as far as the aptly named Nine Arches Viaduct, built in the 1860s because the Earl of Strathmore didn't want the rail line passing anywhere through his estate. Sadly, I don't think I'll be able to see much of it today because it's densely surrounded by woodland and there's almost certainly far too many leaves in the way. Little rivet, I think. Very modern. Base of quite a large and bulbous pot, possibly salt glazed, and the decorative bit of a Victorian foot warmer. It might have come from one of the old mill houses, all long gone now. And some copper wire, which makes me feel right at home. First bottle of the day. And a rather large chunk of brass. Looks like a mixing valve, but perhaps a little too big to be from domestic plumbing. Any plumbers watching who can tell me for sure? I've also just found some copper pipe very close by. Things of similar specific gravity do tend to find each other in river systems. Found a brick. Not getting that out easy. Bit of a toy car. And another brick. Probably not made by elves as it currently appears, but I'm not invested enough in bricks to dig it out. Yet. They are growing on me. I did find what is probably a Tudor brick recently. Copper wire. I don't know how I spot it so easily when it's the same colour as the water, the roots and the soil, but I do, and I'm happy to find it and take it. Claw of a crayfish, a native one I think, which are quite rare these days, and the other claw. I hope it wasn't an invasive variety that killed it. They can be quite aggressive. It's getting quite deep and I've got to cross the river. I might get wet. And is that a spoon I see before me? Looks to be a teaspoon. I doubt it's silver because I can't see any tarnishing. Let's see. Not silver. It's got a slight yellowish tinge. And what has it got to say for itself? Silverite, W Pax. So some form of silver substitute, probably plated over copper. found something. Oh wow, I think I know what this is. Do let me know if I'm mistaken, but I think they're tongs for moving extremely hot things, like crucibles full of molten metal. I've seen similar while researching what gear to get alongside the mini forge I'm hoping to buy. Bit too heavy to take right now, but I have to come back this way and the car isn't very far. I'm just a short way along from the tongs and I've found this, which at first glance seems to be the remains of a paintbrush. But have you ever seen a paintbrush with such a long iron handle before? I haven't. I think I'm going to take this and try to get to whatever metal is left inside and see if I can figure out if there's anything special about it. Perhaps using electrolysis or a hammer. A hammer would work. I got a little distracted and followed a stream up to this little wonder. A man-made footbridge with a fully grown oak tree sitting right on top. They don't make them like this anymore. The stream had very little to find in it and came down a steep, densely foliaged hillside. Just a bit up the hillside is the old railway line. Anyway, back to the river and the planned route. The pressure just dropped and I can smell the rains coming. There's a little shelter under this tree. I have my waterproof jacket on and I don't think it will last very long. Quite a pleasant place to wait it out. I did get a little wet, not so much from the rain but from a deceptive piece of riverbed that looked to be about 6 inches deep, and the water was that deep. The mud underneath it though was another 18 inches. Oh well, I'm wearing wetsuit socks and I did expect to get wet today. Nice looking brick. NCB Stevenson. Ooh. Now I wonder if this manufacturer is in any way related to George Stephenson, who was of course the engineer that invented the first steam locomotive. And he did that fairly close to here, I think, a bit north of Newcastle. If it is related, it's probably not directly so, but I may just have to take this and research it a bit anyway. Bones. The leg bones of a... not sure. Probably a deer, I think. Considering how rural this place seems, there's a surprising number of bricks. Another Stevenson one. Another large implement. Looks like a garden lopper, and I have to wonder how it got here. I don't think there's a garden for half a mile in any direction. So here we are at the end of the trek, beneath the 9 Arches viaduct, of which this is probably the tallest arch. Only 80 foot tall, but the span is 500 foot long, and it's not looking at all bad for 152 years old. This, I'm afraid, is probably the best view of it I can give you today. It is, as expected, quite hidden by leaves, and I really don't have the energy to climb up the hillside and onto the top. Not today, anyway. I've got just about enough energy to get out of the car, and very little more. They haven't got far, can just about still see the viaduct through the rain. Minimal shelter this time. It's beautiful. Doesn't seem keen to quit anytime soon, and it's making the river all murky. I was planning on walking down the other side of the river, but I fear there won't be enough visibility to find anything much. Still, I have a long way to go, and it might clear up a bit. The first bit of pottery in quite a while, and there are times when even the simplest, most common find will be pleasing. Heading back part of a way by path, and the sun has come out, as have the butterflies, which are all suddenly camera shy in this wonderful wildflower meadow. The rain hasn't gone far. This is exactly where I left the possible crucible tongs, and I sure didn't notice when I put them down that right here there's a fossil. One I found many times before, but only in my local rivers, and this isn't local to me, it's about 100 kilometres away from local, but I guess the Carboniferous swamplands were pretty big, and seem to have stretched at least this far north. A fossil of a tree fern root. Time for a brief roundup. I lost a bit of footage, and a lot of what remained was kinda samey, so the final video is a short one. For me, it was a hot and humid day and grueling in parts. I was walking for several hours through water giving plenty of resistance. I wore myself out, and I didn't really find much. Having said that, I did enjoy myself. Now, the spoon has unfortunately lost most of its lustrous plating. I left it in the cleaning bucket too long, and I think the solution I used dissolved it away. I don't mind though, it does appear to be copper underneath as I suspected, and the plating didn't really have any alluring charm to it. There's not much to say about the fossil, except that I do hope to get to the northeasterly coast of England sometime in the next year, where I might find some fossils which weren't Carboniferous age tree fern roots. Perhaps some ammonites, trilobites, belemnites, and who knows, maybe even a fish or an ichthyosaur. I did find a wonderful fish fossil once, in Robin Hood's Bay, but I was 10, and the fish was in a boulder the size of a family car, so sadly I couldn't take it. The brick was probably made by William Stephenson and Sons, and that company was based very close to where George Stephenson invented the steam locomotive, within 20 miles or thereabouts. But the company was founded about 50 years after the invention, and William and George don't really seem to have a close family connection that I can find. Oh well, I've got a brick. I found a stone I like. It's pretty in a subtle, non-flashy way. Seemingly, even in a countryside river, I can find copper and brass. The river does have a rich industrial history though, so it's not all that odd in general. This, though, is odd. I can't imagine why anyone would throw one of these into the river, and I can't imagine that someone dropped it in accidentally either. I can imagine it being washed out of a dump, but it's far too modern for that. Not that I'm complaining, of course. I do like finding semi-valuable metal. It's just a little mystery. And with that, another video draws towards its close. As ever, please give it a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, hit the bell icon to enable notifications, comment, share, donate, buy or ignore. Thank you all very much for watching, and for now, goodbye.